It's time to catch up with Foodie Beauty again. So, yesterday on her stream, she was going to make some meatloaf. Yes. And we didn't see her wash her hands before she started making this. Apparently she doesn't own any measuring cups. The recipe calls for half a cup of breadcrumbs. She pours them in. Oh, this is about half a cup, pours them in, puts the eggs. She's mashing this all up with her hands. And, ugh. She doesn't have a meatloaf pan, which is, hey, I don't have one either. There's a lot of kitchen stuff I don't have. But anyway, she puts olive oil on the bottom of this baking dish, right? And she is so lazy, she couldn't even grab a paper towel, which is sitting there. But instead, she just smears the olive oil around with her hand in the pan. She is so disgusting. And she's going to make some mashed potatoes and some broccoli and carrots. She does give BG a glass of water, the cat. This proves to me that cat does not have constant access to water. Because the cat was by the sink and she decided, oh, you want a drink of water? Gave the cat a glass of water. That's exactly why she hit that cat the other day with the pitcher of water. Because the cat was looking for water. She's not giving this cat constant access to water. I'm convinced of it. I am convinced of it. She's still wearing the same clothes, and she says, I'm wearing the same dress. I just can't be bothered. This is day 2 or day 3. I'm thinking more like day 3 of the same clothes again. I mean, I understand she doesn't have a lot of clothing. Neither do I, but, man, you alternate it. You don't wear the same thing, 5 days. That's just not how it works. I mean, you don't have to wash it after every, shirts and whatnot, you can wear them maybe 2, maybe 3 times, but you alternate it. But whatever. She doesn't care how she appears to anybody. Then she's sitting there. Now, trigger warning, this is disgusting. This is disgusting, and it's going to talk about urine, so if you can't handle pee, skip forward some. She's sitting there. She coughs. And she said, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. I peed a little. Okay, it happens, especially, she's, 42 or what. It happens. It happens to us ladies after we get up older, after 40. You cough, you laugh a little, you pee a little, you dribble a little. Okay, no big deal. She comes back from the restroom. Somebody asks her in the chat if she changed her underwear. Now, are you ready for what she says? No, I didn't change my underwear because there wasn't any pee in my underwear. Huh? You just said you peed a little. She says, are you sitting down? Because this is ridiculous. She says, well, the pee stayed in my crack until I sat on the toilet, and then it released in the toilet. What? She says everything stays in there. I have never, total transparency here. Yeah, I've coughed or laughed a little too hard and pee-peed a little. Yeah, it's happened. But I've never had it stay there till I went and sat on the toilet and then it dribbled out. She just was too lazy to change her underwear. That's what that came down to. I'm not buying the pee-pee stayed in her crack. Oof, she is so disgusting. Then anyway, she gets to talking about her father, with today being Father's Day. From what I gather, her and her father didn't have much of a relationship. He wasn't around when they were growing up. She says her stepfather raised her, and he was very good to her. As she said, she had a lot of love in her family growing up. And even to this day, sometimes her biological father will contact her mother and ask for, Foodie's phone number. But, her mother makes sure it's okay with Foodie. So she says, she does have teenage brothers that she's only met one time. So, maybe, and she doesn't want her dad to pass away without having any contact with him. And she kind of just left it at that. Then she tells us that every night when Salah goes to bed, he will text her when he goes to bed and send a selfie of himself in the bed. That's how untrusting she is. I bet she told him that he has to do this. I can almost guarantee it. Then by this time her food is done. Her meatloaf, right? All of a sudden, she's got to use the bathroom. She's got to poop, okay? She goes, oh, I got to go pregame. I got to pregame. Oh, my stomach. I got to pregame. Pregame? Come on now. So she leaves the camera set up there in the kitchen. You can hear her making all these making all these noises in the bathroom, right? We don't hear no water turn on. And then she comes back to eat. Didn't wash her hands after she shit. Disgusting. And she's talking about her ex-boyfriend again. What is it with this, as she calls him, swordfish? She is not over that man. I don't care what she says. I would say out of 7 days, 5 days, she brings this man up. She constantly talks about this man. She was talking about how, I don't know, he swatted at one of her cats one time or something. I don't know. But the point is, you're in this loving relationship. You've been married for 3.5 years to Salah, and this and that, and you are so in love with him, and there's so much affection between the two of you, but you're constantly talking about your ex-boyfriend. Make that make sense. I don't know. Then she's talking about when she lived with somebody, one of her ex-boyfriends, she had a neighbor, this woman, and this woman had a revolving door of black men every night. What the race of the man had anything to do with, I don't know. Just another, example of a Foodie Beauty and her racism. She could have said, this lady has a revolving door of men. But no, she has to always, if you notice, whenever she's talking about anybody, just like the other day, with the whole going to the lab for her blood work, it was white trash. Now we have these black men. And then, we're talking about Arab doctors. She always has to put somebody's race in there. But she's such, that's racism, in my opinion. We're all people. We all bleed the same. Come on now. You don't have to tell the race of every single person you're talking about. That's uncalled for and ignorant. But anyways, then she starts talking about if she were ever to be cheated on again, that she wouldn't freak out. We know she would. I mean, just not too long ago, she had this big, huge freak out about Salah talking to his cousins, and she's sure the cousins want Salah, and he didn't call. It was during Eid, and he didn't call her for a whole day and then he lied. She claims he lied about his phone charger being broken or something, but nowhere was open on Eid for him to buy a new one. But if she was ever cheated on again, no, she wouldn't freak out. She would just leave, and there's millions of men. She is so full of it, so full of it. And she goes outside. Of course, she goes outside. She's got to smoke once again. And it's pouring rain, so she has to take cover. And she even admits to us, because someone must have said something finally to her about why she doesn't inhale. Like I've been preaching. She does no inhale, just. But anyways, she said, well, no, I don't deep inhale, but I still get baked. But I still get baked. She doesn't deep inhale. She doesn't inhale, period. What is she talking about? She doesn't deep inhale. And supposedly today, Sunday, Father's Day, supposedly we're supposed to have the big 12-hour stream. I don't think it'll happen, but we'll see. Now you're all caught up on Foodie Beauty again. But, yeah. So, like always, nothing really exciting, but you know what? As much as she irritates me and as boring as she is sometimes, I cannot look away. What the fuck is wrong with me? It's her, Amberlynn Reed, Rosie, the Resilient Jenkins, Gypsy Rose, all of these train wrecks. I get so passionate and wound up about it, but I can't stop watching. I have a problem, y'all. I'll see you next time.